Good afternoon, hello. Now this is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. However, for the next circa 10 days or so, I'm going to be handing the reins over to my friend Dan, who is Bike Fit Dan. He runs a company called UK Bike Fit. Now Dan is supporting a gentleman called Leigh Timmis in a world record attempt. The world record is the furthest distance cycled in 7 days. To do so, they are going out to Florida. They're there now, in fact. But in the build-up to this event, Dan's been supporting Leigh in many ways. He's done his bike fits several times. He's been to aero testing days, he's been to the climate chamber, he's been to, where else? He's been all over the place, and he's made some videos from it, or documented some footage. I've put the videos together in the hope that you guys and girls are going to enjoy them. So for the next 4 days, there's going to be the build-up videos, made up of those things I've just said, and then we're going to get into the world record attempt, which we're hoping to cover in 7 daily videos. No pressure, Dan. Now, Dan is not a vlogger, if that's even a thing. Dan is a bike fitter, and I've told him that I am sure that people who watch these videos will appreciate this content. So please do support him in the comment section down below. Let him know how good of a job he's doing, because I'm sure there's going to be tough times over the next 10 days or so, and he needs to keep the videos as #1 priority. Never mind the physio support or anything else he's offering Leigh. Now, I'm going to leave links in the description down below to Leigh's social media, Leigh's website, and to Dan's social media. There will be some updates on there throughout, I'm sure, at some point, because these videos are going to be a little bit behind the actual real life time. But yeah, let's get stuck into it. Hand it over to you, Dan.
Hello, good morning. This is going to be the start of some vlog footage to document the sort of story and the background and the pathway towards Leigh Timmis hopefully breaking the world record for the greatest distance cycled in 7 days. It's weird talking into my phone, so if it's absolutely rubbish, you may never see this. It might never see the light of day. But I'm going to try and document what's going on behind the scenes. So today is the day of Leigh's first bike fit. There's a big story about how we've ended up with this bike, and it's taken a long time to get a bike. The date today is the 11th of August. The attempt's going to be first week of November. So we are, 3 months out, something like that, just under. So ideally we'd have done this a little bit sooner, but the aim of today is just to get Leigh in a position that he can train in. It's not going to be the final position because we haven't got all the components that we're going to use. There's going to be some products that sponsors have kindly given us that we can't fit yet or don't have yet. But yeah, the bike's just been built up yesterday by Christian, Bike Guru Derby. I think that's his business name. He'll correct me. So yeah, now the bike's built, let's just get it built up and ready to go in a position that Leigh can start training in, because 3 months out, we need to know how quick the bike is, how quick Leigh is on the bike for a given power, and Mark needs to know that for his next phase of training. So we need to get the bike built, which has been done, get in a position, and then Leigh to start doing some training to numbers. So first though, coffee. So there's a bit of background behind this project and how it all came about. Leigh approached me, it must have been just before COVID, so 3 years ago now, with the idea of going for the record for cycling the length of Europe north to south in the fastest time. Leigh's already the current world record holder for cycling from west to east across Europe, which is Portugal to Russia, I think. And he wanted to get north to south as well. So as I said, this was just before COVID, so he approached me with the project. We were like, yeah, really excited. He had a route that he showed me, the potential route, and then COVID hit, and that made traveling anywhere impossible, let alone crossing multiple borders in several days. So that got canned, or it got postponed and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back as COVID progressed and lockdowns continued and reoccurred, and yeah, it was never going to be viable. So about 9 months, a year ago, Leigh approached me again with this project, which is very simple: cycle the furthest distance you can in 7 days. sounds very simple. I can tell you there's a lot of strategy and planning, and Mark, the physiologist, has done a hell of a lot of work in working out the most efficient way to get Leigh to cycle on average 325 miles a day, which is a long way. Leigh's just arriving now, and for anyone that doesn't know, Leigh's got a condition where he can't wear shoes anywhere.
That's not a condition, it's a preference.
Right, I've just sorted Leigh's physical exam, so picked up a few things that were quite interesting, and we'll get into the fit. We'll start looking at his feet and shoes. The shoes that we're going to fit now are not the shoes that we'll be using on the attempt, and it's not even the same pedal system that we'll be using on the attempt. So we're not really going to pay too much attention to that at the minute, but we'll certainly assess for what sort of shoes are going to suit him best, and then we'll get into looking at the bike position more today. So yeah, the other reason why we've done the physical exam as well is to get an idea as to what state Leigh's body's in at the minute. So where he's strong, where he's weak, things to work on physically before the attempt, and also things that we need to go to sort of look after and work on during the attempt as well, in terms of recovery and massage and things like that. So yeah, let's get into it. Just had a look at Leigh's feet to narrow down some shoe options for the ones that we're going to use on the attempt. Had a look at shape of the foot versus the shape of the shoe that Leigh's riding now. You can see there's a bit of a discrepancy there. So shape's the most important thing, size comes after. But yeah, the shoes that we use will become more apparent when we start fitting them in later bike fits. But for today, we're just going to get Leigh's current shoes on with the cleats set up as they are, and then start looking at the bike. So Leigh just said this is a moment because it's the first ever time clipping in to the record attempt bike.
So fast. I can just feel the air breathe right over me. That headwind's insane today.
Cool. Fast, comfortable. Bike fit done. See ya. Okay, so as part of this attempt, part of the guidelines or rules from Guinness is that we need a UCI legal bike. So we're just looking at saddle setback. The UCI rule is that the tip of the saddle needs to be 5 centimeters behind the vertical of the bottom bracket. So got the old lasers out, just checking that where we're sitting is within regs, because it would be a bit of a disaster if we weren't within regs and the attempt got binned because of that. So yeah, lots to think about. Right, we've got a position that we want to start with Leigh. In terms of the bike, the front end of the bike is going to be changed quite a lot from how it looks now, based on different components from various sponsors. So we'll fiddle with that when we actually get all the products that we need and components that we need. We're just looking at pressure mapping. So we're trying something out with the pressure mapping to find a couple of saddles that are comfortable, that are giving Leigh different areas of pressure on the bike, so that we can vary the saddle pressure throughout the week of riding. So we've just tested a couple of saddles. We've got a couple that we're going to start with, and Leigh's going to test them out through the next block of training, and we'll start from there, and then we'll get Leigh back in and figure out all the details like shoes and cleats and pedal system and components around the cockpit when we've got them. Good morning. We are on the way. It's probably been a couple of weeks since I last picked this up, so we've jumped forward a little bit in time, but we're on the way in to see Leigh for his second full bike fit. There's some new bits being added to the bike. We've got some extensions sponsored, which I'll show you later. And then we've also got speed plate cleats, pedals, which are the power meter versions. They've been on for a couple of weeks now, so Leigh can get used to them. We've also got some new shoes, which I've already set up for Leigh about a week ago, just so he could train in them, with some other bits and bobs regarding insoles
as well, which I'll show you. Christian's built the bike up last night with all the new toys, so it'll be the first time I've seen it with all the bits on, so we're good to have a look. We'll see you later.
So the other main reason for doing a fit today is because we've got an aero testing day tomorrow at an outdoor velodrome, which is really exciting. We're doing that for a full day. It's at Newcastle-under-Lyme. I forget the name of the track. It might just be called Newcastle-under-Lyme Velodrome, but I'll tell you about that tomorrow. So yeah, we need to get everything dialed in today so that we've got things to play with tomorrow to see what works, what doesn't, what's more aero, what's not, what's sustainable in an aerodynamic position. So yeah, that's the main reason for the fit today, so we can dial all that in, ready for tomorrow. Okay, Leigh's in, we've got the bike in, it's just on Tinder. Again, can't keep him off. So this is the bike as it looks now. So changes since we last saw it are the pedals, Speedplay PowerLink Zeros, power meter pedals, and then obviously cleats, and then these are the new shoes that we've already set up with the G8 Performance insoles already in. So we set the insoles up last time but didn't cut them because we didn't have the shoes, so we didn't know the size of the shoe. So they're in now. Leigh's been riding them a little bit. Extensions, so the cockpit's changed a little bit. We've got USC extensions on the front of the bike, sponsored very kindly. So we're going to play around with those today and dial in the position. Welcome to the inside of a TT bike.
It's ugly in there.
What a mess. Finished up. Played around with a few things today, obviously mainly the cockpit, only the front end of the bike, because those extensions are brand new, so we've positioned those along with the pads to how we want them. We've also trialling a different saddle. The Gebiumized Stride that we had in has been fine, it's been really comfy, but we want two saddles that Leigh finds comfy for the attempt so that we can swap around different pressure areas for him basically. So if we get two saddles that offer different contact and different pressure, then we can swap between the two within the week so that we're not putting pressure on the same spot over and over again for the whole week. So that's the idea with that. What else? I think that's about it, what we're playing with today. We've adjusted the saddle height based on the saddle type that we've got. But everything's ready for aero testing tomorrow, so I will film a bit of that obviously because that'll be really interesting, and I'll show you what goes on there. Here he is.
See you tomorrow.